Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Sensei'S on the akhi&saltfish digital network. You're joined by me, Kahvan. Unfortunately, Rachel can't be here today, but listen, I want us to all get together and send him some love. So make sure you DM him on Instagram, it's @RachelCare, and just send him some love and say you're listening to the Sensei'S and you're thinking of him. Because it's always good to let him know that we're all a community, we're all the Sensei'S. We're not armchair experts, we're not couch coaches, we are the Sensei'S, and this is the akhi&saltfish digital network. So thanks for joining me. Also, talking of DMing and getting in contact, if you are listening to this, just let us know. Jump in our DMs at Sensei'S or at akhi&saltfish on Instagram or Twitter and let us know you're tuning in. Or if you're old fashioned, send us an email to akhiandsaltfish@gmail.com and let us know you're tuning in. It's really important and good for us to know who is listening. So, UFC 275. Oh my God. Okay, the card, if you heard our preview, it was a card we anticipated a 1-round fight between Glover and Jiri. We didn't get that. We got almost a 5-round war. We anticipated Zhang Weili to win in a pretty similar fashion to her first fight with Joanna. We didn't get that similar fashion. Zhang Weili did get the win. We anticipated Valentina Shevchenko to have a ordinary, run-of-the-mill, business as usual title defense, and we got way more than that. We got so much more than that. We got a back and forth and a very, very tight decision for Valentina. A one that I think she did win, but a tight one all the same. And talking to the fighters we didn't know, we got mixed bags in our results, but I'll go through those in a second. Over in the boxing world, we had a boxer show. We're not really going to reference boxer too much. Richard Riakwa won. Be nice to see him step up the levels right now. Who else won on boxer? Chris Congo beat Sebastian Formella. So he beat him by points. So similar fashion to the way Conor Benn beat him. So maybe there's not really any clamoring for the Conor Benn versus Chris Congo fight. Obviously, they're on different stations as well. So the likelihood of that fight happening is probably even less now. What else did we see at the weekend? We saw, of course, Daniel Dubois become the WBA regular world heavyweight champion after defeating Trevor Bryan in 4 rounds in Miami on a Don King show. So we'll talk a little bit about Don King in a second as well. So it was a wild weekend, and I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling the effects of it. I'm very tired. I was up at 4:20 a.m. and went to sleep about 7 o'clock. Really full of adrenaline after watching that 5-round war between Jiri and Glover. So let's get to UFC 275 and talk about some of our reflections. Listen, we will start with the fights that we predicted first. So Jack Della Maddalena did defeat Ramazan Emeev. Now, the younger man won on that night. I thought he would win. Rachel went for Ramazan. That's a 1-0 for me. He won by TKO KO in round 1. So a pretty decent performance for him. Welterweight division. He's not ranked yet. Look, who knows? Who cares? He is... How old is he? Can we find his age? Let's have a look at his age. Can't find his age. 25. He's 25. Oh man, he's a young man. He's a young man. So he's got plenty of years ahead of him. We're talking about the welterweight division actually. Let's Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman is taking place on August 20th. So our man, the British Leon Edwards, is going to fight the Leon Rocky Edwards is going to fight Kamaru, the Nigerian Nightmare Usman. And we may have another British champion. Let's hope so. Good luck to Leon. If we're being honest, making predictions this far out, I don't think Leon gets it done, but it will be amazing to see him get it done. Rachel and I actually went to Birmingham one time to watch a live Michael Bisping show, an evening with Michael Bisping, if you will, or Tales from the Octagon as it's called. And it was in Birmingham, and Leon Edwards was present, and he didn't really get that much of a reception, you know. So as much as I'm rooting for a British champion, I'm not sure many other people feel the same way. Mark Goddard, the referee who actually refereed the main event last night, he got a markedly better reception than Leon Edwards, which is a bit sad, given that one is an active fighter and one's a referee. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Maybe that was just a tough crowd for Leon, but I hope he does get the support he deserves as a top tier UFC fighter, and hopefully is a British champion in the next few months. So let's see. We didn't predict the next fight for some reason, but Andre Fialho, I think that's how you pronounce it, was defeated by Jake Matthews by a round 2 KO TKO. But we didn't predict that one, so I can't really speak about that one. I didn't watch it either. I woke up and I saw Joanna Jędrzejczyk had just announced her retirement, so I already knew the result of that fight. I didn't know how exactly it ended, but Zhang Weili, I watched it this morning, and Zhang Weili, Jesus, man, that girl is strong. Super, super strong, super athletic, just pure game. Obviously, she got head kicked by Rose and cleaned out in round 1, but she doesn't seem whatsoever gun shy. And obviously, she's had a fight since then, but she seems sharp, she seems active, she seems on it. And yeah, she beat Joanna halfway through the second round by a spinning back fist straight to the neck, right in the artery, cleaned her out. Joanna fell face first. A sad sight, to be honest with you. Like I said, we did say in the last show, Joanna is almost 35, which is pretty much shelf life of fighters. She's been fighting for the last 20 years. She has had her eye on other ventures for some time now. You could see it. Like I said, she got an enhancement. She's looking outside of the sporting world. This isn't just about sporting credits anymore. It's about profile building and business decisions. And she did what she had to do, and she's been doing that. And she's been building businesses, and she wants to continue doing that. She also said in the post-fight press conference, she wants to become the best manager she can be. So we're seeing that she wants to stay in MMA, which is really, really good. Look, when she announced her retirement, I actually got a little bit emotional, like a tiny bit emotional, because it was quite sad to see. Like, you could see all she knew about life was just coming to an end. She's been training more than half her life to be a fighter, and this is it. So it was a sad moment. But nevertheless, what a bloody career. Like, honestly, Joanna, she deserves all the props in the world. She put on so many great shows for us. The first fight of Joanna's I think I watched, and I remember getting invested into, was her versus Carolina. I can't remember her last name, but Carolina. She fought last weekend, I think, in the UFC, and also from Poland. And watching that battle between two Polish fighters in the UFC, one of them was a champion, the other one wanted to be a champion. It was a great narrative, and Joanna did what she had to do. And then I was watching her title reign, and then obviously I watched that fight between her and Rose for the first time when she got chinned by the left hook. Amazing to watch her career. She seems so lucid, even after getting knocked out last night. Her speech to announce her retirement was clear. Good luck to her. Honestly, a fantastic amount of luck to her. What a career, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Thank you. And obviously, Zhang, what happens next? She's now the number one contender for the strawweight world titleship or world championship versus Carla Esparza. They're not going to give Rose the immediate rematch, because what the hell was that? I'm the best. Dead. So, yeah, it looks like Zhang Weili versus Carla Esparza for the title. I think Zhang gets it done. So, good luck to her. Brilliant, fantastic athlete and fantastic champion. And she did say for world peace at the end there. So, yeah, shout out Zhang Weili. The next fight, the one that I actually watched live there and then, I had a weird feeling. I saw the tail of the tape. Obviously, if you listen to the preview, I completely dismissed any chances of Talia Santos, who was 19-2 going in, or sorry, 19-1 going in. Dismissed all of her chances. Just said it was going to be another run-of-the-mill performance for Valentina. That wasn't the case. That was not the case. My I got scared, okay? Valentina Shevchenko, 34 years old. Talia, 28, I think. I saw that and I thought, oh my God, this is it. Valentina's going to lose. So I put on the Sofa Sensei's Instagram and the akhi&saltfish Twitter, what if Valentina loses? Because I just had a weird feeling. Maybe this felt like a passing of the guard moment, you know? I haven't heard anything from Talia in the lead up to the fight. I didn't even bother watching any interviews, anything like that. Just didn't bother. I watched a few Valentina interviews, and it was just, again, it's very run of the mill, very business as usual, and so it should be. She's a dominant champion, 6 title defenses. This was her 7th. She doesn't look like she's been in any trouble in and amongst people in her own weight class, let alone the weight above. She just lost on points to Amanda Nunes. Round 1, Jesus. It looked like Valentina was just getting beat. Like, she just wasn't as strong as Talia in the first round. Didn't seem like to me. But she kept initiating clinches, kept initiating takedowns, which put her in Anyway, put her in bad positions. Obviously, listen, this happens when I'm tired. My ability to select words is limited. But yeah, put her in really bad situations, and that seemed like a silly move from my perspective. Anyway, round 2 was a round I felt like it was for Valentina. I think in round 1 she was caught in a potential rear naked choke, but landed some great shots from her back. So yeah, it was good. It was a good showing. Round 2 did what she had to do. I think she just about nicked the round. But again, was being exposed a little bit in the clinches and in the takedown department on the ground sort of thing. Yeah. Round 3 was a Talia Santos round, fairly dominant. Again, a lot of it was just strength, and like in the striking department, Valentina was miles ahead. But on the ground or in any sort of grappling exchanges, Talia was definitely closing that gap. Round 4 and 5 were championship rounds for Valentina. Didn't think there's any dispute amongst those. But it was a nerve-wracking affair. I wasn't confident that Valentina got the decision when it was announced. Looking back, I definitely do think she won. So congratulations to her. Not every championship run is going to be easy, but she is still a champion. So congratulations to Valentina. Our predictions were correct, but certainly not in that way. I did not anticipate it to go that way. And shout out to Talia Santos. Listen, at the end of the day, she's made a great name for herself. I did not care for her before this fight, and now I'll be tuning in for her next fight and see if she can take it from the champion. It is interesting to note as well that Valentina did not necessarily call for any sort of rematch. She said she'd like to fight a few people, and none of the names mentioned were Talia Santos. Some of the names mentioned were Misha Tate, which would be an interesting fight, a former champion, but I think in the weight class above. She's cutting weight to 125 and is going to fight, what's her name? Lauren Murphy. Next, if she wins that, I don't think she will. If she wins that, then she may well then fight Valentina for the title, which will be an interesting name value fight at least. But I think, again, a run-of-the-mill performance for Valentina to secure the win. Yeah, Valentina is 34. She's about 6 months younger than, what's her name, Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Jędrzejczyk has just closed her career, and to be honest with you, although she's on, I think it's like, she's lost 4 of her last 6. I still think Joanna has something to offer the division, but I'm also equally happy, if not a little bit more happy, that she has retired after that loss, because listen, you can have more to offer, but there's no need to be fighting until the well is completely empty. Leave a little bit in the tank, why not? She said she wants to train with Rose still and those sorts of things, so she's still going to stay active in the sport, just not compete, which is, I think, a great idea. Valentina, 7th straight title defense. It's the most in UFC history for women, and yeah, a great career, an iconic career. When does it end? How does it end? Questions I always ask myself about these sorts of fighters and these sorts of careers. I don't know. I think the end is probably closer than we think, to be honest with you. I hope whatever happens, Valentina goes out on her own terms. Best of luck. The main event. Wow, Jesus, man. Let me just... Like I said, I expected this fight to last 1 round. In whoever's way, I was leaning towards Glover. I thought the old man would get it done because of his experience, because of his versatility, and because of his toughness overall, despite having a little bit of a suspect chin, but it is what it is. Listen, they both... Let me just go through my tweets in and amongst this fight, because if you're not following at akhi&saltfish on Twitter, then please do, because we do up to date as they happen fight commentary sort of thing. So Both men survive round 1. Glover dominant until the last 20 seconds. Still anyone's fight. Wow. So that was my thoughts after round 1. Okay, Glover is a dog. He's a dog. As simple as that. And you can see that from the thumbnail of this podcast. Like, he just takes damage and he keeps going forward like a Trojan. 2 rounds Glover was my comment on the second round. Jiri, he won round 3. Legend. Stuck it on Glover a little bit. Was performing a little bit better than everyone expected on the ground. Definitely had the edge in striking. Ridiculous power, ridiculous speed, unpredictability as well, but still definitely vulnerable because of his unorthodoxness. He was still certainly very vulnerable, and Glover explodes with the right hand, and then follows it up with a left hook, which is just mean. And caught Jiri a few times, but still at round 3, round 4, Jiri. I was unsure about a round 4 for Glover, but I went with it anyway. And in round 5, I was sure that if Glover won that, he would have won the fight. And with 20 seconds to go, 20, like, bear in mind, round 5 as well, Glover lands a mean right hand, boom, straight on the jaw, and then he pulls a guillotine. What? Bro, listen, when you had him rocked, you should have just kept fighting him, because he was maybe 2, 3, 4 punches from being out, but instead got him in a guillotine. Gave him a little bit of a chance to recover. Bear in mind as well, this is round 5, so they're all sweaty. So getting a guillotine and getting a tight one and keeping it there, the chances are slim. To do that when you had a man hurt is just poor fight IQ. Look, I don't mean to say that in a judgmental way. Big man, if I caught a man rocked in round 5, I may well have put him on a guillotine as well, bro. I'm not a fighter. Glover should know better. He's a 42-year-old fighter, one of the oldest in the UFC. He should know better. I'll tell you who would know better. Jon Bones Jones. Jon Jones may not know right from wrong in the real world, but he knows right from wrong in the octagon, that's for sure. Yeah, I was watching this fight between Jiri and Glover and thinking, Jesus Christ, man, how good is Jon Jones? How good is Jon Jones? He dismantled Glover. Dismantled him. He would dismantle Jiri Prochazka. Jon Jones is on a different level. You can't mention Jon Jones. And with that being said, I'm going to move on from Jon Jones. Back to the Jiri versus Glover fight. Absolute war. Fantastic. And you know what? Jiri surprised me on the ground, particularly around that finish and all his rolling. Listen, I'm not a jiu-jitsu expert, right? But you don't see guys get up from Glover when he gets mount. You don't see guys get up from Glover when he's on mount, mate. When he's on top. In mount position. Full mount position, whatever you want to call it. Madness. And he did it. And then he choked Glover out. First submission loss of Glover's career. Jesus, at 42 years old. Listen, Glover looked all right, though. He looked good, to be fair to him. I'd like to see Glover call it a day. I think he's had his Indian summer, so to speak. He's definitely at the twilight of his career, and I think it's time to wrap it up. He said he's going to keep going. He said, do you want to see me keep going? And DC said yes. I don't know. He looked old coming into the octagon, that's for sure. Body shape wise and all those sorts of things, and in his face, he's gone through a few wars, hasn't he? It is Jiri's time. Good luck to him. I think he said Jan is next, Jan Blachowicz. So yeah, should be a good fight. I see Jiri getting that one done. Jiri was disappointed in his performance as well. It's worth noting. Said it was a horrible performance and he could do better. Yeah, he should have done better, to be fair. Like I said, I thought it would be done around 1 and it wasn't. So yeah, but yeah, when you wrap at 4 or 5 in the morning and this fight's on, it's hard to go to sleep at that point. So fantastic performance by both guys. They put on a show. And again, even thinking back to Talia Santos, she damaged her orbital bone in round, I think the end of round 3. So round 4 and 5, like I said, were dominant for Valentina. And I was just questioning the toughness of this woman. Like, your eye is likely broken, your eye socket is likely broken, and you just keep going. You keep fighting. Like, this is mental. The level of toughness from these fighters is just insane. Glover at 42 to be in there having a war with a 28-year-old. Mental. But listen, congratulations to Jiri. He is ultimately the new undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC. Fantastic achievement. Jon Jones. That's what I've got to say on that one. Moving over to the boxing world, I said I was going to mention Daniel Dubois. He won by knockout, as expected. I said it would take about 15 minutes. He did it in about 12. So fantastic job for Daniel there. Well done. Couple comments on it, though, as always. This was a Don King production. Don King was doing way too many national anthems. Boxing needs to get rid of national anthems. It's boring, man. No one wants to hear... I was about to sing the American national anthem. No one wants to hear that. And no one wants to hear God save our gracious... You know what I mean? No one wants to hear any of that, man. Put the fight on. Learn from the UFC. Like I said, I woke up. I read that Joanna was retired. Next thing I know, Valentina's walking in the octagon, mate. It's simple. They move on. Dead all this national anthems and all that rubbish. It's boring. No one wants to hear it. Particularly not for a regular title. Come on, man. Let's have some context. This is just a regular title. It's not a super title. It's not even. It's barely a world title, guys. Let's put it in some context here. But yeah, Don King show comical. Don King was the king in 1980s, 90s, maybe even 70s. I'm sure he promoted the Thriller in Manila and Rumble in the Jungle. Those are iconic fights. I'm actually debating getting some posters of those and putting them in the podcast studio. That's how iconic these fights are. But big man, it's 2022. Don King put his fighter Trevor Bryant Jr. in a small ring with a power puncher. The ropes were yellow and blue to represent Ukraine. The studio, or wherever it is, the arena of the fight was flooded a few days earlier. It had about 500 people in there. You could hear people cough. You could hear people's conversations in the background. The production value was elementary, should we say? Yeah. But nevertheless, Daniel got a win. Okay. Clean, lovely little left hook. Short left hook at that. Cleaned out Trevor in the 4th round. I did have a feeling that maybe Trevor was getting a bit clever and he was going to sort of cover up, roll the punches, etc., and just ride it out to the end of the fight and lose on points that way, or try and drag Daniel into deep waters and then defeat him that way. That didn't happen. And in the end, Daniel got to him. Daniel is still definitely a learning fighter. He doesn't seem fluid. He hits hard. That's about his redeeming quality right now, and he is developing a couple combinations which you can see the Shane McGuigan effect on him. So that is good to see. They called out Dylan White. I think that's a little bit premature. I think Dylan White would still deal with someone like Daniel Dubois despite his power punching. I think Dylan White would get it done, and potentially by stoppage as well, because I think Dylan White's got a bit of a bigger dog in him than Daniel Dubois has got. So yeah, fantastic performance nevertheless. Couple comments on the WBA regular title quickly. Obviously people are calling it a world title. It's simply not. Like, Usyk is the WBA world heavyweight champion of the world. Simple as that. Okay. This title, people like to say, well, David Haye won it and he was a legitimate world champion. Yes, that's a interesting point you make, because at the time when David Haye was the WBA world heavyweight champion of the world in about 2009, I think it was, there was only one WBA heavyweight championship, the one that was held by David Haye. When he fought Klitschko, and Klitschko won that fight because he broke his toe, David Haye, that is, Klitschko was elevated to the WBA super heavyweight champion of the world. The WBA regular title then went on around the houses, so to speak, with people like Povetkin. Povetkin won the regular title. Manuel Char had the regular title hostage for a long, long time. I think Lucas Brown won it as well off, I can't remember. Who did he beat? What's his name? Who did Lucas Brown beat for the title again? His name escapes me. Let me, Lucas Brown world title. Let me just search that 1 second. Lucas Brown world title. Let's see. When he stopped, Chagayev, Ruslan Chagayev. Yeah. So he won the WBA regular world title when he beat Ruslan Chagayev. Those are the few notable names that since David Haye have won the regular WBA world title. So yeah, people can't claim that lineage is the same belt that David Haye David Hay held. It's a different belt, okay? Nevertheless, obviously, it makes Daniel Dubois a bit of a mandatory for Usyk Joshua winner. It's too soon. It's too soon. This is one of the dangers when you elevate a fighter this much. It is too soon. Sometimes you end up rushing their careers. We've already seen what happens when you put Daniel Dubois in with somebody who isn't ready for, in Joe Joyce, and he got his eye socket punched out. So again, questioning the toughness of these fighters. He got his eye socket bust and then carried on for rounds, fighting a guy with 7 times bone density of the average human. Yeah, wild. But yeah, that was Daniel Dubois. Obviously, you can probably still tell I'm incredibly tired, so I'll keep this one short. Next, we Boxer happened. They had a show last night. I don't know the headline. I can't remember. Maybe it might have been Richard Riakporhe versus some guy beginning with T. I can't remember his name. Stopped him with a body shot. Moved on from that. But Dal Riley knocked someone out, so it was good to see him showcase his power. Really good. It looked sharp as well. Looked quick. Great knockout. Again, obviously, the only thing you do is question the level of competition, but it is what it is at this stage of his career, isn't it? Who else? What else was I going to say about the box? Oh, yeah. Let me just go over to my Twitter. Somebody tweeted something that I wanted to bring up on the podcast today. I think we had Lauren Price, Olympian, fighting. And this was her debut. And this guy called Dewey Powell, that's Dewi Powell, on Twitter. And he said a few things I didn't like about this promotion of Lauren Price this weekend. I'll start with revealing her opponent 2 days before the fight. That isn't good enough for an Olympic gold medalist. She's an Olympic gold medalist and they're announcing her pro debut 2 days before the fight. Listen, the debut itself has been in the making for a long time and they should have announced it and had an opponent in and secured way before 2 days before the event. Again, it doesn't look good. If you didn't know, Lauren Price is also a lesbian. And Adam Smith made this comment at the pre-fight press conference this week. He said, did she sign with Boxer because of Ben Shalom's good looks? Now, obviously, that's just a generally sexist remark, I suppose. Definitely not something that would have a bearing on a professional fighting promotional contract. Not something that is relevant, really. And obviously not fitting for Lauren. This guy also said, Dewey Powell also noted that it's Pride Month, and to say something like that is completely tone deaf. After the fight, during Lauren's post-fight interview, they just stopped it and declared that they'd signed Joseph Parker as a promotional company. So again, you've got this gold medalist who just won her pro debut. This is AJ territory. This is Nicola Adams territory. This is Katie Taylor territory, potentially the biggest fighters in the UK. And you cut short her first pro debut post-fight interview to discuss a fighter you've just signed who in the UK has a decent profile, but nothing major. You know what I mean? Don't know. Yeah, could not have been put elsewhere. Just got some good points from Dewey there. So I saw it on my Twitter and I thought I'd bring it up on the pod, man. It was good to have his opinion on the pod. So if you are listening, Dewey, I doubt you are. Great comments. We agree. Fight World. I think that's pretty much what happened last night. It was crazy. Just props to Zhang Weili, props to Jiri, props to Glover, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Valentina. I was surprised at, and I think we're not far off from seeing her lose. But God forbid. Let us know your thoughts. As I said at the start of this, please let us know if you're listening. It's really good to know who's in tune and what your thoughts are as well. In days like this, it would be great to have you guys call in, share your thoughts of the fight as well. That'd be cool. Maybe that's something we can develop as time goes on. Let us know if you're interested. This has been Sofa Sensei's on the Akhi&saltfish Digital Network. If you have any questions for us, or if you want to get in touch and say hello, we are available on email, akhiandsaltfish@gmail.com. We're also akhi&saltfish on Twitter and akhi&saltfish on Instagram. We have a Instagram account for the Sofa Sensei's. It is @SofaSensei's. We're doing some great things in the next few days, so please keep an eye on our social media. We're always posting things that we think you're going to find interesting. Let us know if we're getting it right. It's also worth noting as well that right now we have the Yuma's Kitchen Before Our Friends Die episode out, a fantastic look into the local business that is Yuma's Kitchen, how they're expanding not only into Milton Keynes but in their community work globally. It's fantastic, and I'm really excited and grateful for all the positive feedback that we've got so far on that episode. We've also started sponsoring that post on Instagram, so you may well see it in and amongst your stories or in and amongst your explore page, etc. So hopefully, if you do see an ad, screenshot it and let us know, because we'd really be interested to see who's seeing it and how far they are. Check it out, let us know your thoughts. It's been fantastic. I am incredibly tired, but always grateful to be able to sit down and talk to whoever's listening about these fights. It's a genuine passion of mine, and I love to discuss the fights. You could say I'm an armchair expert, you could say I'm a couch coach, but you must say I am the Sofa Sensei. Thank you very much, take care, have a great night, and see you soon.